I'm Barone.
What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Weighing In Podcast. And I'm here joined by my man, Podcast Dave. He was real busy last week. He was one parent, 3 kids. Which didn't want to sound a little weird, like two people, 1 cup kind of thing. But 1 parent, 3 kids. It was a very it was a little stressful for you, I think.
It was very stressful.
The oldest one is what, 7?
Yeah.
Yeah, Link is 7, and then it goes what, 5?
4, 5, yeah,
4,
and then
4, and then 4, 5, and then man, and then new one, and then is the new one? I don't want to give out names. Is the new one at daycare during the day, or do you have?
Daycare during the day.
Okay, so it wasn't as bad as I thought. I thought like you had her at home, and then Benji was out, like he had half day at school, and then he comes. I'm like, man, bro, you got it. You got your work cut out for you. So, hey guys, I want to let you guys know we actually I did a show today with Matt Serra. That show will be dropping sometime this week, probably tomorrow. Great interview, great time talking with him. If you guys haven't checked out, I did the Dominic Cruz interview last week. Ale Quinta also was last week. We just cut that out of the show and then actually dropped it here this week as a solo as well. I'm working on some other interviews, trying to get you guys lined up. But man, the Matt Serra one today was great. We have such history together. He fought BJ Penn, who was my teammate at the time. I was scheduled to fight Matt Serra 2, maybe even 3 times. I know for sure the 2 times. I was scheduled to fight him. Fights just didn't come about, but in the UFC actually. And I was literally like maybe about 3 or 4 weeks away from fighting him. And then I got injured, and then he ended up fighting one of my teammates, Kelly Delonte. But anyways, great interview. He's always fun to talk to. I don't know if you guys ever watch his Finding a Fight or something like that with Dana White. Like he's got great energy. He's a great person. Love being around him. Those are the kind of people I love to be around, man. I love Matt Serra. Fantastic interview. So when that drops, you guys make sure you guys hit that bell for notifications so you guys know when it drops. And obviously smash the subscribe button, man. Thank you guys for continuing to support this podcast and just continue to, share my content, man. I appreciate you guys so much. It's been awesome. Podcast Dave is with me here today. And man, let's go ahead and talk about some stuff. Jon Jones did a video, just got caught off guard. He was at an event, and somebody was wearing some meta glasses and was listening to him talk to somebody else. And the guy was off to the side, so Jon really probably wasn't paying attention to him. And even if he was, just not realizing, even though you can kind of tell that the meta glasses are on, regardless, this is new technology. And just not, I think probably just like as you're saying things, talking, you feel like you're having an open dialogue conversation with somebody. And next thing you know, it's on social media. I am going to throw a little shade towards my boy, though, DC, because DC put out some comments today as well. I don't know if Dave can pull those up. I think it's on his Instagram. But let's start with Jon Jones's comments. Jon Jones says basically he's borderline needing a hip replacement, and he is, he's very arthritic and is having some body problems. So it says, I have severe arthritis, and most people don't know that. My left hip is covered in arthritis. I actually am already qualified for a hip replacement. I believe it. I'm actually going down to CPI stem cells next week to have my hip injected again. So my right hip, I'm doing my right knee, my right hip, my neck, and my back. All 4. So I want to say thanks to the guys over at CPI, Scotty, those guys, man, and Ed Clay. They're fantastic people. I've had great results with their first batch of stem cells that I did about 1.5 years, 2 years ago. I'm going back. I was supposed to go back a year ago. I just haven't been able to make the time. But this is definitely huge improvements. And I was not able to look all the way up to the sky for almost 12 years. I went there within 24 hours. I was able to look all the way up to the sky. No pain, not until I get to the very end. There's like a little pinch at the very, very end, but I can only look like this far for a while. Now I can look all the way up. It's amazing, man. It's amazing. So I'm going to go back and do another batch of stem cells in my neck as well. Again, I'm going to do my back, and then I'm going to do my right knee and my right hip or my left shoulder. I haven't decided whether my knee is about 90%, 92%, somewhere in there. My right hip still has a little bit of a click in it, so I want to get that taken care of. And then the left shoulder has been bothering me a lot. I've had surgery on the shoulder, so I'll have that conversation when I get there with their doctors. Fantastic facility. But back to Jon Jones. Jon Jones comes out and says, I'm already qualified or already a candidate for hip replacement. This is very common in a lot of fighters that have been that kick a lot. My right hip hurts a lot. I have fighters that I train with at American Kickboxing Academy. Fantastic, just mainly kickboxers. And 2 of them that I already know of at 38 years old, 32 years old, had to have hip replacements. So I understand exactly where he is coming from. I know the pain, I know the clicking, I know the feeling of like not being able to like lift your leg to put your shoe on because it just gets stuck. I understand everything that he's going through. So very unfortunate though, to be honest. And it's a guy of his level, a guy that has done everything. I see no reason for him to come back. I know he wants that Alex Pereira fight. I know he wants the White House card. But if that's not an option and that fight's not going to come to fruition, I don't want to see Jon Jones fight a Cyril Gane. I mean, I know he's already fought him. I don't want to see him fight a Tom Aspinall. I wanted that fight, but then now knowing that he's not going to be the real Jon, I don't know, man. I'm kind of losing interest. I've always kind of felt this way when Jon was gone for so long. You know, whether it was contract negotiations, the Ngannou situation, all that stuff going on. I was almost like checked out on Jon Jones. I was like, you've been gone so long, like no one really cares. Then when he came back and he fought Cyril Gane, I was like, it was a quick performance. You can't really get much out of that. Then he waited around for Stipe, and I was like kind of turned off by it all. But I get it now. I mean, it's a lot easier for me to understand. Like, what was your take on what was the reasoning? What was Jon's reasoning behind wanting to fight a 42-year-old, behind wanting to fight just strictly a kickboxer in Cyril Gane, who was considered to be the number 1 contender? It basically just came down to like he's got some health issues. His legacy is more important to him. He doesn't want to take a chance of losing. The Alex Pereira fight, he knows he could probably wrestle and take him down. He knows they're probably equally about the same size. I think Jon uses his reach and his range a lot better than Alex does. Alex is probably obviously the heavier hitter, the cleaner kickboxer, but Jon Jones is still Jon Jones. Still can do things that, that 99% or 95% of the athletes can't do. So it's very unfortunate that he's going through this right now. He's going to continue to go through this the rest of his life. It's not just going to go away when I turn the camera off today. We're not just going to go, oh, Jon's all healthy again. And, he's going to live his life just fine. No, he's going to be just fine because financially, I think he's just fine. But he's still going to be dealing with some pain throughout his life. So his hip. But I did see a response from DC. Were you able to pull that up?
Yeah.
DC had some comments. Basically said, just in case she is now the interim champion, it's the only belt. Wait, not this. Is this the Jon? Yeah, I'm looking for the Jon Jones one.
That's the only one. That's the only thing I could find on DC.
Where did you see his Instagram. Yeah, I saw it on his Instagram. He had put out a video about Jon Jones.
Oh, video?
Yeah, it was a video. Might have been on his story. He basically said that he doesn't believe that Jon Jones is, got this problem. Yeah, I think this is it. Is that it? Yeah, I think this is it.
That's Jon.
Yeah.
Here's the deal: is I'm not sure if I try to play sound on this, if it's gonna sound echoey because I'm not sure how to do it on this new software yet. But
okay, you want to give it a try? If it doesn't work, we can just take a look. Because I normally just play.
Or Dave, but they don't have Jones in fight. I was saying that I would wrestle Jones in RAF. Too, because if he steps on that line, I'm taking this dude 10-0. People jumped on that. Obviously, we did that reality show together. People seen us together, gave him the idea that we might compete. Well,
it is true. I do have arthritis, and that wasn't for everybody to hear. I have severe arthritis.
Jon said the kid filmed him without his knowledge.
The kid that leaked that was an absolute asshole.
It's very easy to tell if you're being recorded with the meta glasses. I don't know that anything he does isn't intended to be taken in the way that it's taken. I don't believe it. And I don't think you should, because I don't think that he was unaware of the video. I think that Jon Jones knew what he was doing. I think that he wanted people to know that he's injured. And I think that's exactly the way that he wanted it to happen. But I think for the first time, I actually believe that he might have some true issues with his hips. I believe Jon Jones is hurt. And I believe Jon Jones really is dealing with injuries from a long, sustained career, there will be no wrestling match between him and I. It would be too hard for him to compete in a wrestling match. His body will not hold up in the training to prepare for wrestling.
Yeah, I mean that's good. Like he was talking about more like the glasses. Yeah, it was a little trippy, guys. Sorry, lazy bed. Yeah, sounds like we're on a spaceship. Feedback loop, Papagino,
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. Yeah, that's weird because when I play it,
it's because that's I brought in a second screen. I probably should have just done it all on one computer, but yeah,
got it. Yeah, because I pull it on from Anyways,
yeah.
I mean, if you need me to help you with your tech stuff, I got you, bro. Oh, yeah, I never thought I'd be able to say that to Podcast Dave. But if you ever need some help, Podcast Dave, I can help you, man. I got no echo on my side. So but yeah, man, for me, I look at it with DC. Not knowing whether you're being recorded or not, a little bit of a jab at him, but I get it. I understand. But also too, Jon being able to come back and being able to get this fight against Alex Pereira, like at the White House, if that's not in the cards, I don't think we see Jon Jones again. I think for the amount of money, now this is public, the hip stuff, almost like giving people are going to say it's an excuse. If he loses, he's just saying he's hurt. He's not the same Jon Jones. That's why I don't want to see him fight. That's why I'm like, why? You've done everything. You've beaten everybody. I get the Alex fight is very enticing. I think Dana White's come out and said he'd like to see that fight at 205 because Alex is the champ there, instead of having them fight for an interim title or stripping Tom Aspinall for the heavyweight title and having them fight for the heavyweight title. I think that they just want to do it at 205 and say, hey, Alex could potentially be considered the greatest of all time if he beats Jon Jones at his weight class at 205. I mean, I don't know how much credit people would give him for beating him now that Jon's come out and said, oh, my hips are bad. Oh, he wasn't the same Jon Jones. Do we give him credit for that? I would. I mean, because it was once you step inside that cage, man, you're basically saying I'm good. I'm ready to fight. No difference when you take a fight on short notice. If you take a fight on short notice, man, you're saying you're good. You're saying you're ready to fight. There should be no excuses after that. Should be none. So I think we're going to obviously find out more as time goes on. But in this day and age, with the meta glasses, with cell phones in everyone's hands, I mean, we've got to be careful what we say. We've got to be careful across the board on what we say. And he got caught. And DC was like, oh, well, you should know when you're recorded. DC got caught on a hot mic too, though, with Tom Aspinall. So you don't always know when people are around, when people are recording stuff. You don't always know. And this is the society we live in now. This is the world we live in now. And so he got caught off guard, and I think he just assumed the guy was there standing there listening to him, and he just got caught, man, got sound bites. So, and then that kid put it out. Man. And, and Jon's obviously very unhappy about it all. So I think that was just a one-on-one conversation between him and somebody, and it got publicized. So just got to be cautious. You got to be careful. Got to always be aware of where you're at. It's funny because if you work as an analyst, when I was working at the desk or I was cage side, you've got to always think, even when you're at commercial or even when you're not, even when the show's not even started yet, or when you think you're done. I mean, Michael Bisping, right? When he did the whole thing on the wrap up out of one of the shows, and at the very end, he's like, "Oh, that was gay." He was just talking about himself, like how dumb. He's like, "Oh, that didn't sound good," about something he did, and everyone caught it on air. But it was, it was harmless, completely harmless. But it was like you just got to always think to yourself that your mics, there's mics around, there's cameras, and there's mics everywhere. So, yeah, man, there was a couple of times where I thought I was off air, and I said some things, and it wasn't anything really it wasn't bad. But I mean, they can be sometimes. You sometimes just forget. That was something I learned from Jay Glazer. Jay would tell me all the time, always assume your mic is on. Doesn't matter. Make sure, just don't even, if you have to ask yourself, should I say this? Don't say it. So, but yeah, I think in just a friendly dialogue between a fan and somebody and Jon Jones, he thought like there was no one around that was listening, and they were there listening with the glasses on. So what else did you want to talk about today, Dave?
Let's see. I've got wanted to get your comments on Chandler. saying that he wants to basically fight Max for the BMF title at the White House.
Let's go ahead and listen. Can we listen to this, or should I just
go off of yeah. That's what he said. So
okay, that's what he said. Michael Chandler saying he wants to, he's eyeing. From what I understand, don't quote me on this. It's not verbatim. Is that he's eyeing the BMF title, and that's really what he wants next. That's kind of the gist of it all, as I recall. Dude, you got to get a win, man. You can't fight for titles off of losses. You got to get a win, and it wasn't like your last loss was like a knockdown, drag out battle. Like Paddy Pimblett just fucking mauled you. I mean, he beat your ass. Fucking, it was not good. So, I mean, it doesn't matter if like, oh, you're, Mr. Entertainment, or you're not entertained, I'll meet you at the top, all that shit. Doesn't matter. That last performance doesn't get you anywhere near Max Holloway. Nowhere near. Now, in reality, if he rakes off like one, maybe two more wins, I'd be like, yeah, go ahead, give him. And I'm not. And you guys all know I'm not a fan of Michael Chandler, but let's be honest, like he's fun to watch because he'll just go down swinging. And the BMF title was for fighters like him, for guys that will stand in front in the middle of the cage and throw down. So for me, the reality of it is that yeah, go ahead and let him fight for it, but not until after he gets a win or two. And to be honest, let me pull this up real quick. I'm looking at the rankings. Tell me somebody in that top 15 that he can beat. He's number 13 right now. I mean, he's not beating Fiziev. He might be able to beat Dariush because Dariush just hasn't looked great lately. He's getting a little chinny, so if Chandler does connect with him, I mean, maybe. But they're number 12 and number 13. He's not jumping very much. I mean, if I was to take him to like Moicano or Rufy or Hooker or like if Hooker and him, I wouldn't mind seeing a Hooker and him fight rematch. I'm not against that. I wouldn't be against that rematch. Let's see where they shake. See where they shake out. Got Dan Hooker at number 8. Yeah, see where they shake out on that fight. Dan Hooker and Chandler in a rematch. I know we've seen that fight. Chandler's first fight in the UFC. Papagino 1, 2, 3. He's not outside the 50. He's number 13 right now. Michael Chandler is. At least that's what my rankings show.
He's outside what?
Huh?
You're sure he's outside?
Yeah, I don't know. Papagino 1, 2, 3 says that he's outside the rankings. I think is who I just saw.
I'm on UFC rankings right now.
Yeah, me too. He's number 13, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I have him at 13. Yeah. Papagino says he is outside the top 15. No, he's not. No, he's number 13.
Maybe he just means the media's lying about his position.
I mean, but there's guys in here. I mean, like, Manuel Torres, Faris Ziam, like, you've got, I mean, he might have a chance. I think he has it'd be a fun fight to watch him and Dan Hooker go at it again. I mean, Moicano is, I think he's still tough. He's still fun. He's older though too. So that I could see that matchup going on. You give me one good win, Michael Chandler. Give me one. You get one good win, and let's see where it ends up. If it ends up being Charles, I don't want to see you fight Charles for the third time. But if it ends up being Max, I mean, we know you're going to stand in front of Max and fight an entertaining fight. I mean, you're going to probably lose on the feet, but it's still there. I think we'll all tune in for it. That's I think where we're at on that. But I'm not opposed to the Dariush fight. I'm not opposed to. I more want the Dan Hooker fight. I want the rematch.
Why though? If you beat him,
where's Michael Chandler going to go? And that's a jump up all the way up to number 8. Chandler's ranked 13. If you can fight Dan Hooker, the same guy you already beat, you might as well fight him at number 8. That puts you right back in a little bit of a conversation.
But is Dan? No, I guess Dan's on too good as well.
Yeah. Yep. They're both off losses, so they might as well just fight each other. I mean, Chandler right now has nothing to lose. I mean, his career's going to end here probably in the next 1 or 2. I mean, I don't know how many more fights he's got left on his contract. He'll fight him out. Collect as much money as he can. But I mean, he hasn't looked good. And this goes back to the BMF title. Do I think that he should fight for the BMF title right now? No. You got to get a win or two. Just to sum this up, you got to get a win or two. You know, and you give me one win, I'll put you right there with, if it's Max Holloway, who is the BMF title holder, I'll put you right there with Max. Let's just do it for fucking fun. I mean, let's have at it. Let's have it. I think the British people say that, right? Right, Dave? Let's have it. Let's have it. I love it. See, I pay attention a little bit to the UK stuff. But I would love to see the Dan Hooker fight. I'll take the Moicano fight. I'll take the Beneil Dariush fight. I'll take one of those 3 fights. They're all 3, like not Dan Hooker, but Moicano and Dariush, they're older too. I'll take those fights. You give me a win there, then let's go ahead and say, like, maybe then we go to Dan Hooker. I don't know, but I think Max is all the way down at number 4. He gets a win over Charles. He's number 3. Max is eyeing Ilya Topuria. He's not eyeing Michael Chandler. So I know that's maybe what he's eyeing, but Max is like, bro, I got other shit to do. I mean, in reality, right? Like if that was Chandler, he would be like, yeah, whatever, dude. I'm not fighting that guy. I don't give a fuck if I have the BMF title or not. Doesn't care. But so, I mean, right now he's in a position that he needs to. Not begging for fights, but you need to hope that somebody will take that fight that's ranked ahead of you, that you can keep you in the conversation. You know, it says right here, Yban Craft or Yban Craft here. It says right here, becomes lamer if Chandler fights for it. At least Nate and George won. I get it, and that's what I'm saying. Like Chandler needs to win one. I would say even 2 fights. I mean, that's and to get him closer to Max, you got to beat number 8. You got to be able to beat number 8, which is, Dan Hooker. The other thing is, why not fight Gamrot? Gamrot's mainly mainly wrestling with very, very little striking. Michael Chandler's former wrestler, just wrestled against Chad Mendes in the ROF, Real American Freestyle Wrestling. I think he's working on being scheduled again to wrestle somebody else. Why not work on that? I'll take that. Let's get him, and then that jumps him past Dan Hooker. I don't know how old Gamrot is. I mean, let me see how old Gamrot is. Doesn't I don't see his age on here.
He's 35.
Oh, yeah. So he's Chandler's, I think 37, I think, or something like that. About to be 38. So I mean, 35.
Chandler's 39, about to be 40.
Oh, 30. Oh, about to be 40. Yeah. Get it. Yeah. This version of Michael Chandler, it doesn't deserve a title shot. At 38 or 39 years old, almost 40. Nah. No. Well, the Antoine Willis, there's no more pay-per-view. So they're just numbered events now. That's what we call them now, just numbered events. What else you got for me, Dave? Chandler's not fighting for the BMF title, guys. Ladies and gentlemen, you heard it here first. Make sure you guys clip this, put it on your social medias. Michael Chandler is never fighting for the BMF title.
Until he does.
Until he does.
You got Paramount, you got UFC 326 to show on Paramount Plus and CBS simultaneously.
Yes. Hoo-yah, hoo-yah. Let's go, baby. Let's go. This is look, if you were going to pick a fight to put on there, your first time back, this is let me remind you, this is the first time that UFC has ever been on just a regular, what is it? They call it like a regular channel. A what?
Network channel?
Yeah, network channel. First time ever. People forget Spike TV wasn't free. It was bundled into your cable deal. You still had to pay for it. Everyone's like, oh, that was free TV. No, it wasn't. Spike TV was not free. And then Spike got bought by Paramount or whatever it was, or they rolled it into Paramount, whatever it was, and then it turned into it went Spike TV, then it went Paramount, and then I think it just kind of faded away, and that was it, man. So You couldn't ask Max Holloway versus Charles Oliveira, 2 first ballot Hall of Famers, both guys. First fight on CBS for the UFC ever to main event. And this card, Kaiba Hollow and RDR, great co-main event. And let me just say, I heard Bruno Ferreira is out. So Gregory Rodriguez and Bruno Ferreira, maybe Bruno Ferreira is not out. I don't know if you can confirm that for me, Dave, but I believe I heard that he was out. And you got Rob Font and Rosas Juniors. That's a good fight as well. Different contrast of styles. I will take that fight. And then you got Esteban Robovics versus Moicano. Thank you. That's a great fight. I mean, there's some other good fights on here, right? You got Cody Durden on here. You got Cody Garbrandt on here. You got Dusko on here. Sue Jamar, however you say his name, Sue Madarji. You got him on here too. I mean, there's some good fighters on here. Should be some fun fights. Gaston Bolanos versus Zhou Sangyo. I mean, like you. Good fights. Good fights. Great card. Great card to have on there. I'm interested to see what it's just from 8 to 10. So it's a 2-hour time frame. And I said this, people were questioning what I was saying. They were like, oh no, the UFC never going to change what they're doing. I'm like, look, you don't understand. Network TV, it is such a time constraint. They're probably only going to have 3 fights. It's a 2-hour show. Throw the commercials in there. They're probably only going to have 2, maybe 3 fights on there. What they'll do is they'll run 3 fights. They'll probably say like, okay, look, we're going to put Gregory Rodriguez and Bruno Ferreira. That's going to be on there. I don't know if they'll run a swing bout, but I know that when we did CBS shows for Strikeforce, they would run a 1-fight swing bout. And the one of the times they did it was me versus Dwayne Ludwig was a swing bout. And so you don't know when you're warming up. You don't know when you're supposed to be ready. This says when the main card starts, if the first fight ends quickly, then you're gonna fight. And I was like, okay, cool. So like, luckily the first fight ended quickly, and I ended up fighting Dwayne Ludwig. But it just comes down to there's only a 2-hour spot. 2 hours. You got to think they normally fight 2 fights in an hour. That's normally on like a pay-per-view model. You run it with commercials. You're really only getting a fight and a half in an hour because they got so many commercials before the fight, between rounds, also too between fights. You're cutting it close with 3 fights. 3 fights in 2 hours is what you're going to get. Possibly a swing bout, but I doubt it. Just to be honest, I doubt it. But this is historic. This is a great opportunity for these fighters to really, to be honest, to hoard themselves out and make a lot of money. This is what the fighters have been. This is what they've needed to make money outside of the UFC. Once you got rid of sponsors on your clothing, this was their opportunity to make money now. Coming on to network TV, coming on to CBS. There will be no bigger opportunity and chance for them to make money. This is perfect, man. This is absolutely perfect. So Max Holloway, Charles Oliveira, great opportunity for them to cash out. Kaiba Hollow and RDR, great opportunity for them to find some sponsors that they can do commercial reads for and ads and stuff like that for their social media going into the fight. And all the other fighters that are down there that are on this card as well. This is a perfect opportunity for them. So good for them. Happy for them. I think there'll be 3 fights during that 2-hour period. They'll do 3 fights. There'll be a lot of commercials, guys. A lot of commercials. So, but overall, like this is a huge moment for the UFC. Huge. So good for them. Good for them. I was actually going to talk about the Charles Oliveira and Max Holloway fight. We've seen this fight before. Fight ended in a shoulder dislocation, or like shoulder issue. And I'm really looking forward to this fight at this stage in their career. How both of them have gotten so much better. They've got a lot wiser on how they fight. And in that fight before, we didn't get enough material out of it to kind of see how it was going to go. But ultimately, this is a great fight. They're both towards I don't want to say they're both towards the end, but they're starting to get over the hump now where they are headed towards the end. They've got I'd say 2 more years in them, at least. But I think you're going to start to see, like, you fight long enough, you have these conversations where you fight long enough, and then it starts to fall off. Charles coming, he's had the nasty knockout loss to Ilia Topuria. Max has the nasty knockout loss to Ilia Topuria. Both guys. And right now in this stage in their career, I mean, Charles he's got the wrestling to take Max Holloway down. Max has got the movement to keep himself away from Charles Oliveira. On the feet, Max is the better striker with more output. Charles, to me, is a little bit cleaner in the striking in terms of, like, he keeps his hands up pretty high, but he does get hit still. I don't know. I just feel like physically Charles is a little bit bigger of a fighter. He carries the weight a little bit better, I think. But Max, though, his fight when he fought Justin Gaethje looked absolutely fantastic. Absolutely, he looked phenomenal. This is the weight class for Max Holloway. There'd be no reason for him to go to 45 ever again, ever. And I know he's not. At this stage in your career, you need to stay where you're at. Like, lightweight is the place for him. This is perfect for him. Perfect. So, obviously no fights this weekend. So just talking about this fight, this is going to be a great, and I'll do more of a breakdown as we get closer to the fight. But I mean, I got to be honest, man, UFC 326, the card's really good. So Kai Bahalo coming back too, and then RDR coming back. So both of them coming off of their losses. Looking for some good fights, man. Looking for some good fights. Great opportunity for Charles Oliveira and Max Holloway, BMF title. Both of them I consider to be BMFs, obviously. And they've done so much in the sport that, I mean, there's no way that we're going to walk away from this fight and be like, oh yeah, that guy really lost. No, we as fans, we won. We won that. We get to see two greats get in there. Look, start taking a look at the lightweight division, man. Guys are getting older. I just had this conversation with someone yesterday. I think it was yesterday I had this conversation with them. Justin Gaethje, I don't know how long he's going to be around. I mean, he talked about retiring if he didn't win this fight and didn't win the interim title. So Justin Gaethje's kind of on, towards the end. I think he's got two more fights, depending on how long if he stays a champion, I'm sure he'll fight till the wheels fall off. That's championship money. Armand's still young. Charles getting a little bit older. Max getting a little bit older. I think Max is 35. I don't know how old Benoit Saint Denis is. I don't know how old he is. Patty's still young. Gamrot is 35, I think is what you told me, right? Mm-hmm. Moicano, I think, is 38. Dariush, I think, is 36, 37. Chandler's 39. That's like 5 or 6 top 15 guys.
Benoit is 30.
Who is?
Benoit is 30.
Oh, so he's still young. Benoit is still young. Okay. Dan Hooker's what, 32? Something like that. And then Ruffy, I think, is 29.
36.
Who's 36?
Dariush.
Oh, Dariush. Yeah.
Dan is 35. Who else did
Dan
you say?
Hooker?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Really?
Yeah.
I thought he was only like 32, 33. Damn, 35. Yeah, so you've got your best guys in the top 15, not best guys, but the ones that they're in the top 15. So they are your best guys.
Armin's 29. He's probably the youngest guy, though.
He's a baby. Him and Patty, I think, are the youngest. I think Ruffy is 29 also. Mauricio Ruffy, I think he's 29. He might be 30, but he's 20. I think he's 29.
Trying to think, I'm just loading Paddy right now.
Yeah.
Paddy's 31. And then who? Mauricio?
Yeah. Mauricio Ruffy, I think he's 29.
Yeah, 29.
Yeah. I mean, you've got your top Justin Gaethje, Charles Oliveira, Max Holloway. Come on down to Gamrot, to Dan Hooker. They're all 35 and up. Moicano, 30, 38, I think, 37, 38. I don't know what Fazeev is. Dariush is 36. Chandler, 39. I mean, 6, 7 of your guys in that top 15 are over 35 or 35 and older. So they need a shot in the arm. Let me just tell you this. This would be a great time to start trying to figure out what your figure is going to be to bring over Usman Nurmagomedov. What's your contract going to look like? Islam is gone now. He's at welterweight. And see, I see someone right here. See, we got great minds think alike. I would try to pronounce your handle, but I can't say that. Abdullah Buhank 904 Usman. Yep, that's the guy to bring. It's another shot in the arm. Plus, you get him with the Habib kind of like, Team Habib versus Arman and Ilya. You get that mix. The three of them are going to be the Usman. Let's just look at this. You got Benoit. You've got Benoit, Arman, and if you bring Usman and Ilya.
Paddy.
And Patty, you got Patty in there as well. You've got those are 4 or 5. Mauricio Ruffy's going to make a comeback. I think he's making some changes to his career. He's making some changes with his camp. He's finding himself in some places that he thinks is best for him to help him with his career. I think that's the way to go. So I think you got Mauricio Ruffy, you've got Arman Sarukian, you've got Benoit, you got Patty, you got Usman if you add him, and you got Ilya Taporia. You got Max Holloway. Max will be around for I think another 2 years. So you still got time there as well. So you got all these guys.
Did Volk say he was going to go up? I think Volk but Volk's
done.
also older.
Yeah, he's older too. He's done. He's not doing that. He's not going up. He's going to stay where he's at. He's like, this is where I belong at 45.
Oh, I thought he said he's got to 55 at some point. But yeah,
he ran that train. No, he's done there. Yeah. Interesting. That's it. But that to me, like you add, like anytime, look, there was a little bit of a shot in the arm for the weight class when they added Michael Chandler. A lot of energy, a lot of good, some fights, some action-packed fights, all that stuff. Yeah, so I think that is that's kind of what you're looking for. You're going to need somebody to come in and kind of shoot that little bit of energy back into the weight class as these guys start to kind of like fade off. Dustin already left. Islam went up to welterweight. You lost 2 of your best guys right there. Put on a great performance for Islam's last fight in that weight class. Then he goes up to welterweight, dominates for the title there. And then Dustin Poirier goes off and he rides off into the sunset, and retires. There's fights to be had. There's a lot of fights to be had. The other fight, too, that I think a lot of people seem to be overlooking, man, I'm really looking forward to this Sean Strickland fight. I've had Fluffy Hernandez on. I've had Anthony Hernandez on the podcast, talked to him, interviewed him. Dude's fucking fantastic, man. And to me, he honestly poses a real threat. A real threat to Sean Strickland. Because he's not going to let Sean get into a sparring type session. He's not going to let Sean just kind of like dictate the pace of the fight. And I think the blueprint's been laid for Sean. You get Sean moving backwards, you get Sean fighting an uncomfortable fight off of his back foot where he's not feeling like he's controlling with the tip kick and the jab and the tip kick and the jab and a couple occasional right hands. If he's not able to control the tempo, he's not the same fighter. I think Fluffy has seen that. I think a lot of fighters have seen that. And as much as I like Sean, I think he's good for the sport. You guys can think about him however you want and his content that he does. But bottom line is, he brings eyeballs. People, it's one of those, you either love him or you hate him. And either way, you want to see him win or you want to see him get knocked out. Floyd Mayweather had that. I think there was a portion there. Conor McGregor had it too when he fought Habib and like in that frame of people hated him because all of a sudden he turned into a heel. Not just for the Habib fight, but the Dustin Poirier fights as well. Or they loved him because he still was Conor McGregor. In this situation, I think Anthony Hernandez got nothing to lose, man. He's fun. What he did to Roman Dolidze, holy shit. I mean, he made it look easy. And the way that he just grabbed him with the choke and then threw him on the ground, it's like, man, I'm done. Who's next? That was pretty impressive. Very impressive. So this is a great matchup because I would give Hernandez he's got the better grappling. I just don't know if he's got the wrestling to take Sean down. Sean's very hard to take down. And when you do get him down, he's very difficult to keep down. Everyone that I've ever talked to out of Extreme Tours is like, yeah, man, like trying to hold him down is a pain in the ass. Talked to Johnny Eblen. Johnny Eblen was like, man, I was struggling. I get him down. Sure, I get him down easy. But then holding him down was different. As soon as he hits the ground, he's already making his steps to get back up to his feet. He doesn't settle on bottom. That's tough. Yeah, that's tough. So, look, I love this fight. Anthony Hernandez, and Sean Strickland. Great fight, man. Great fight. The co-main event on that is Jeff Neal and Medic. Great fight. Dan Ige and Mel Costa. That's another good fight. And the heavyweights will get after it too with Spivak and Anthony D'Elia. Both those guys, someone's going to get knocked out in that fight. And the undefeated fighter, Jacoby Smith, great fight. Like, he's the fighting the unknown fighter. The TBA guy is always the most dangerous. That guy is always the toughest guy. But Jacoby Smith is undefeated, 11-0. Great wrestler, loves to stand and trade. Looking forward to seeing him back inside the cage. But look, go back to Sean Strickland, Anthony Hernandez. The grappling of Anthony Hernandez, I think, is going to be able to kind of nullify, keep Sean pressed against the fence, take Sean out of his rhythm and the pressure. Hernandez is going to put so much pressure on him, make him fight going backwards. We know that Sean doesn't fight as good going backwards. No, not a lot of fighters do. But in this situation, I really believe, like, we've seen enough of Sean trying to fight going backwards with guys that have pressured him that he's had very little success there. So I look at it, I think to myself, Anthony's going to have a tough task ahead of him, but I'm leaning towards Anthony Hernandez in this fight. I mean, I'd love to see, Dave, if you could pull him up. What are the odds on this fight? I would imagine they have Sean as the favorite. Probably not by much. Probably like, I'd say minus 175 to like a plus 215 or something. I could see it being somewhere in there. I'd also like to see the odds on the Charles Oliveira and Max Holloway fight too.
Fluffy is the favorite, minus 250. Strickland is the underdog at plus 200.
What? Whoo. Yeah. That shocks me. I thought it'd be the other way around. I thought it'd be similar odds to that. Something like that. What about the Max and Charles?
So for this one, let's see. It's thinking Max is a minus 200 and Charles is a plus 154. Roughly.
I think it's gotten to the point where Charles's chin is starting to sway the judging, or not the judging, but the betting odds. I think people are kind of questioning his chin because he gets rocked all the time, and and almost all of his fights now he gets rocked. And then obviously the one with Ilya, that was nasty. That was a nasty knockout. So, yeah, I think a lot of people are picking Max to win by TKO or KO in that fight. He's gonna have to stop some takedowns though. Charles Oliveira is gonna try to keep this on, or try to take this fight to the ground, I believe. I think he'll stand a little bit. Obviously, that's what Charles does. He's one of the most entertaining fighters out there, man. But it does shock me with the Strickland and Hernandez fight that I thought the odds would have been rolled the other way. I thought Sean Strickland would have got a little bit more love from the betting odds. But not the case. Not the case at all. Big time. That's gonna be a good fight, man. That's gonna be a great fight. Where's that fight at? It's at the Toyota Center in Houston. Yeah, that's February 21st. February 21st. Interesting. Whew. Good fight. What else you got for me, Dave? Got anything else?
Yeah, you want to comment on this right here? The comments by Brendan Schaub that get picked up in the headlines, and he's referencing the state of the heavyweight division. He says the heavyweight division is so bad. It's such a shell of what it used to be. Even when I fought, it used to be so good. Go back and watch Pride Heavyweight, Grand Prix. Even Bellator 10 years ago was better than this current heavyweight division in the UFC. When I fought, it was the who's who. It was Murderer's Row. Now it's a shell of itself, and it doesn't have to be. Somebody needs to step in and go, hey, man, this heavyweight division is dying, if not dead.
Mm-hmm. I mean, everything he said is 100% true. I mean, Dave, when you read those comments, did you think to yourself like, "Oh no, what are you talking about? They've got a good top 10."
Nope.
I mean, you go back and you think, I mean, but are we attaching ourselves? The only critique I would say about this is that are we attaching ourselves to the name value that was in the heavyweight division when they merged Strikeforce and the UFC? Because all those heavyweights pretty much came from Strikeforce. Fabricio Verdum came back to the UFC from Strikeforce. He was in Strikeforce. Daniel Cormier came from Strikeforce. You had there was other fighters. Alistair Overeem came from Strikeforce. Like a lot of these guys came over in the merge, and just anytime I just talked about bringing over Usman Nurmagomedov from PFL and how one fighter can make such a difference. They brought a slew of guys over when they took over Strikeforce. It was almost like one of the greatest moments and I've always considered it to be one of the greatest moments in sports history, in the sport of MMA's history. When they bought Pride and they brought over a couple fighters from Vanderlei to Quentin Jackson to some other guys, right? Shogun Hua. They brought over some guys that everyone always dreamed about being in the UFC. And then something very similar happened with Strikeforce when they bought it. So you have the Ultimate Fighter, which is huge. That was a huge deal. The Ultimate Fighter when they had that. Then the Pride buyout. And then Strikeforce buyout. Those were 3 times when they were able to plug and play athletes into the divisions that really kind of amped up the divisions that people were buzzing about.
This was yeah. I was gonna say this was 10 years ago. This was the heavyweight rankings.
Okay, so 10 years ago, let's see. Oh, Anthony Johnson was in there, huh? Because he was in the PFL in the heavyweight. That's light heavyweight on the left. Okay, so that's the heavyweight on the right. Sorry, heavyweight on the right. Because Anthony Johnson also fought a heavyweight in the World Series of Fighting when it was called World Series of Fighting. It's now called PFL. So at the top, you've got Fabricio Verdum, who had just beat Cain Velasquez in Mexico City. Then you got Junior Dos Santos, Stipe Miocic, and Andrei Arlovsky, Travis Brown, Josh Barnett, Ben Rothwell, Mark Hunt, Alistair Overeem. Think about that. Alistair Overeem is ranked number 9. Frank Mir, former champion, ranked number 10. Antonio Silva, Bigfoot Silva, Roy Nelson, Matt Mitrione, Stefan Struve. Gosh, man, that guy was fucking huge. And then Alexei Olenek. All of those guys. Like all of them have name value. Now, my one critique will be this. Some of them, can you pull that back up? Sorry, Dave.
Yeah, sorry.
Can you pull that back up? Is some of them, we're kind of getting a little bit towards the end. They weren't really to be taken, I guess, these are the best guys anymore. But it didn't matter. These guys were all still Andrei Arlovsky was not one of the best guys during that time. But he was ranked number 4 or 5, right? Yeah, number 4. Travis Brown had a really good run there for a moment. Josh Barnett came into the UFC, just didn't have the same appeal that he did when he was younger. Then on top of that, Josh I felt like did better in Strikeforce. Frank Mir, was a former champion. Alistair Overeem ended up coming up and having a really good run. Big Country was always there. Roy Nelson was always just there to put on great fights. He was fun to watch. He had a little stint over in Bellator as well. But man, I mean, think about that, right? Think about those top 4 guys, 3 guys, right? You got Fabricio Verdum, Cain Velasquez, Junior Dos Santos, Stipe Miocic. And let's be honest, Daniel Cormier, I know he was the champion at this time. Daniel Cormier probably would have been number 1, or he couldn't. I don't know if he would have been the champion because Cain was there, but then Fabricio was able to beat Cain during that time. DC, I think, would have beat Fabricio Verdum. There's no way that Fabricio was able to take him down. DC had the faster hands. Styles make matchups. Yeah, man. DC should have been at heavyweight. He just knew that he never wanted to fight Cain. Came out publicly and said this the other day as well. But I mean, we all knew it in the gym.
Remember, Papagino says, this is just nostalgia. Travis Brown is getting slept by Tom Aspinall in 15 seconds.
Ooh, you're saying Travis Brown, but Travis Brown later on showed that his chin wasn't that great. But look, if we say Tom Aspinall, right? You got to keep that up, Dave. I got to keep referring back to it.
Sorry.
So you're saying Tom Aspinall, though, right? Tom Aspinall had a hard time with Cyril Gahn on the feet. And look, I'm a huge Tom Aspinall fan. The whole eye thing is driving me a little crazy right now. But Tom Aspinall has a hard time, I think, with somebody. He has a hard time with the Josh Barnett, who at this time was ranked number 7. Tom Aspinall has a hard time with Stipe Miocic for sure. A Junior Dos Santos, I think, gets him out of there. Junior Dos Santos during that time, the first one that beat Kane, even the second one that fought Kane. That Junior, I mean, Kane fucking beat the brakes off of him in the second fight and the third fight. And I'm not knocking Junior at all. He fucking fought his ass off. You have to look at that fight and go, damn, this dude's a warrior. Junior Dos Santos was a warrior. Cain Velasquez just proved to be, he had a little bit more fight in him, man. He was the better fighter. He had the dog in him, the dig, and Junior did too, but just Cain had a little bit more. But Tom Aspinall is not beating Cain Velasquez. Tom Aspinall is not beating Junior Dos Santos. I mean, he's not beating Stipe Miocic. I don't think he's beating Josh Barnett. Is he beating the Uberreem? Is he beating Alistair Overeem, but the Uberreem version of him? Is he beating that guy? Because I don't know if he is. So you're saying there's a little nostalgia to it, but man, these guys were good. They were tough. So I don't know. I couldn't tell you. Look, the heavyweight division, to go back to what Brendan Schaub was saying, the heavyweight division is a fucking mess right now. An absolute mess. It's nowhere does it compare to that list of names. But you also have to remember that was a collation of like Strikeforce fighters and the UFC. They all merged together at that time. You know, so those were all the best heavyweights in the world. No other promotion had maybe one other heavyweight. You know, I mean, I always said that I thought Anthony Johnson should have went up to heavyweight and fought at heavyweight in the UFC. Because I think guys like him, I think he knocks out Fabricio Verdum. You know, I think he knocks out, I think him and Junior Dos Santos would have been a fucking fight. Neither guy really trying to wrestle. That would have been a fucking fight. Just a nasty, nasty fight. Oof. Crazy. So that would have been a huge fight. Huge fight. So stop with the Barnett, Josh. Nice little play on words there. No, Josh Barnett was tough, man. He was tough. Well-rounded. He definitely could handle Tom Aspinall on the ground. What are you talking about? And on the feet, I mean, he was very crafty on the feet. He was very crafty. Tom Aspinall, his last fight against Cyril Gahn, a good striker, a very good striker. Didn't look great. And look, and that's all we have to go off of. All I have to go off of is the guy that I saw last. And on the feet, he didn't look great. I saw him fight Pavlovich before that and got the knockout over Pavlovich. Everyone's like, oh, I myself, I was like, damn, his stand-up looked clean. But as the fight went on against Cyril Gahn, he didn't look great on the feet. So I'm gonna go ahead and put it out there, man. I think that Josh Barnett, with that skill level 10 years ago, I think would have probably been able to beat him right now. And that's not a dig at Tom Aspinall. He's got a lot of work to do. He's got to be more active. He's got to fight more. Can't get better, inside the training room. It's sad that he missed so much time waiting for Jon Jones. That's what's sad. He's like, I mean, he was the Michael Chandler 2.0 version. That's what sucks. He wasted, 2 years of his life waiting around for 18 months or 2 years of his life waiting around for Jon Jones to fight him. Just fight. Doesn't matter who's in front of you. Just fight. Doesn't matter if it's for the undisputed title. Just fight. You can't. The most valuable thing in a professional athlete's career is time. You need to fight to make money in this sport, and he wasn't fighting. If you want to make a lot of money, you need to fight as often as you possibly can. It's different. Like you have the NBA and you have the NFL. They get paid whether they fight or whether they play or not. You know, maybe they get a deduction in pay if they don't, if they're on IR. Or, I don't know how it fully is broken down. I'm sure everyone's contract is different. But to be honest, you know, I mean, this is where he needs to fight. He lost a lot of money during that time as the interim champion. He could have been making close to like, you know, championship money. So that could have been 800,000 to $1.3 million, somewhere in there, maybe even up to $2 million, depending on his contract. So I don't know. Well, what else you got for me there, Dave?
Lazy Bed asked Josh, Javid Basharat and Alex Morono both removed from UFC roster. Any thoughts?
The Alex Morono one I can understand. Like Alex took a pretty bad beating. You know, he's one of the most well-rounded, you know, fighters. He's good stand-up, but he's known for his grappling. And he's gotten away from the grappling and become a striker, and it's not the same. So I mean, like, I understand. You know, he took some nasty leg kicks and took some big shots, showed a lot of heart. I hate to see that they cut him off of that or they released him off of that. That sucks. The Basharat thing, I think there was comments made afterwards that, you know, the UFC just not, they're so big right now, they're not looking for any negative media, and you got shit to say about, you know, how the fight went and how this went and how they're not, I don't think they're really into this. I'm going to listen to you. They want athletes to come out and just fight now. Come out, fight, sell the fight, do your job. You have complaints, call HR. That's really what it comes down to. Like, we don't need to hear this shit. I've got 100 fighters in each weight class that are just itching and begging to get into the UFC. You know, and I said this years ago, and I took so much heat for it. I used to pump, you know, the PFL. I used to pump the Bellator. I used to pump Ryzen. And I was like, guys, you guys got to watch other promotions. And I watch other promotions when I know they're on. Like the PFL, I watched the PFL. I watched the Usman and Magomedov fight. I watched the co-main event. How do you say his name? Mosiev or anyways, I watched the co-main event. That was a great fight as well. Back and forth battle. Great fight. I watched some of the rest of the fights on the main card there. Good fights. We've got to do our part in making sure that there's other promotions for these fighters to go to. Otherwise, we're going to end up with a bunch of low-level fighters in the UFC because they take less money to get into the UFC, and we're going to be wondering like what happened to the sport. We as fans, that's what happened to the sport. We let it get diluted like this. We're allowing the Dana White Contender Series fighters to come in, and all of a sudden they become stars. Sure, some of them are entertaining, some of them are good, but they're not top level guys. When the UFC first came around, like if you were in the UFC, you were considered to be like a top 10 guy in the world. And I know during the time, if you were when you say in the world, it was like Japan, US, Brazil, and UK, and Canada. Like that's kind of what it, like Australia really didn't have. We had like one fighter out of there. I can't remember his name. He was in the 155-pound division, I believe, too. You know, we there was a couple guys from other, you know, countries, but it really was minimized to, you know, to Japan, to Brazil, US, and UK. One or two fighters from Canada. That's it. But now, I mean, you get fighters that they come off the Dana White Contender Series fight and they are in the UFC making 12-12 or 15-15 or 18-18, whatever it is. But that's what you're going to get. If we continue, like if you allow or we don't support other network or other promotions, give those fighters an opportunity. Usman, if he would have came when he was younger into the UFC, he wouldn't have been ready. I think he is better. He can slide right into a top 10 guy now. I'm not saying he's going to win. Look, I put my foot in my mouth with the Patchy Mix thing, so I'm going to avoid saying this type of stuff anymore. But simply put, I believe in Usman. Obviously, the guys that come from Team Habib are a lot different than any other fighters that are in the business right now. Their whole purpose in life is to be the best that you possibly can be. You know, they don't drink, they're not doing drugs, they're not partying, they are focusing on their craft every single day, getting better. So I believe he can come back in. I think he can come right into the UFC and fight a top 10 guy and have success. He can make a run. But if he was coming in on the Dana White Contender Series, making 12-12, we'd all be saying, "Oh man, it's Usman Nurmagomedov from Team Habib," but he'd be making 12-12, and he wasn't ready for that early in his career. So bringing him over now, it brings a lot of excitement. And that's the reason why it's exciting, is because he's coming over as a champion from another organization. That's what makes it fun. And look at, and someone even brought up here, Kamzat. Great idea. Look at Josh. Does Usman actually fight Archie Kogan, or do you think the PFL try and sign a big name for his last fight in the contract? No, I actually believe that. I think he does probably fight Archie Kogan. He's got one more fight on his contract. They're going to try to renegotiate. If they're smart, they'll do everything they can to keep him for at least 4 more fights. I don't think that he'll do more than 4 fights in his contract. And I just did a whole, like a whole show on leaving like leave some meat on the bone. If you're going to come over from another promotion, whether it be Ryzen, like Horiguchi coming over at 37, 38 years old, he came over, but the division's starting to get some legs, and he's a great addition there. But damn, is he not fast? Is he not good? He's phenomenal. The only fight he's ever lost at 125 pounds is to Demetrius Johnson when he was 24 years old. All of his other losses on his record are to 135-pound fighters. Do you understand? Like, having Ryzen for him to continue and Bellator for him to continue to develop his skills was extremely important for him coming back right now and having success. Usman, for him to be over there in PFL, having a promotion with some top guys that have been through getting the experience against these other guys that have been there for 20 fights, 18 fights, fighting guys that have that much experience. Usman Nurmagomedov got better because he fought Paul Hughes, and he fought him twice. He learned a lot to not take fighters for advantage. He understood. Don't take advantage of the situation. Like, he got the fact that this kid, he didn't seem like he did anything good, but when he got in there, shit, he's tough. He hits hard. He's got clean technique, defensively sound. Shit, man. Like, you know what I mean? He learned a lot in that experience, and you don't get that coming in and fighting in the Dana White Contender Series fights. This is why we need, shows like the PFL, shows like Ryzen, or if other people come up with the LFA. We need those shows. Fury Fights, another good promotion. We need those promotions to help build these guys up, to get them going. So, I saw something else in here. What was it? Usman.
I got this one from Lazy Bad. Kevin Holland and Randy Brown is official for UFC 327.
Great. I love it. I love to see Kevin Holland. Kevin Holland's a Texas guy. So Randy Brown, good for him. Love to see that fight. I'm assuming that's at 170 because Randy Brown fights at 170. I wasn't sure because last I heard Kevin Holland was talking about going back up to 85, and I was like, that's a good fight. Both tall, both long, lanky. Randy, I think he'll probably be the favorite in the odds. Cleaner striker, not all over the place, fights a little bit more composed. And I guess ultimately we just don't know what Kevin Holland we're going to get. I like the one that is focused on the win, focused to come out there, get the fight, get it done, and half they're having fun, but to the point of like, okay, being aggressive with the striking, getting it going. I think he'll always be one of those fighters that when you look, you go, what could have been? You know, like if he would have focused a lot more on getting better. Because when he first came into the UFC, right? Like he trained with Travis Lutter and he had some great grappling experience. And I mean, we were like, damn, this guy, he's got a lot of potential. You know, so I don't know. What is this? Why are you uploading episodes to podcast anymore? What does that mean?
Oh, it probably means audio. We still do.
Oh, we still do. Not sure. Why aren't you? Unless we're late on something. Did we miss one? Two?
Wonder if the Dom one maybe didn't go. I'll double check.
Okay. What else you got for me?
That's all on the news side. Yep.
Okay. Here we go. Duke Mad Duck. Good question here. Josh, did you know Kane's second pro fight was in? Yes, I did know. Yep, it was in St. Petersburg, Russia. Yes, I do know. Yep. That was what was that one?
That was an accident.
Oh, it was an accident. But yeah, look, Kane fought over there. Trevor Prengley was the Bodog champion over there, and Kane fought. His very first fight was in Strikeforce. Cain Velasquez. His very first fight was in Strikeforce. Second fight was in Bodog, which was over in, I want to say it was in St. Petersburg, Russia. So, and then we got the Duke Mad Duck again. Let's go ahead and talk about this one. Oh, AK411 said that it's they aren't uploading. Why is Fedor being forgotten as one of the GOATs? Pride was way more stacked than the UFC back then, especially in the upper weight classes in the upper division. You're absolutely correct. And I don't think he's being forgotten. It's just people right now, what they do is they only put together the heavyweight division that is current or the ones that have fought in the UFC. I don't think anyone's going to deny the fact that that Fedor is probably the greatest heavyweight of all time. I think, I put Kane. You know, him and Kane, I would say interchangeable. I would say maybe probably Fedor over him. And I think even when I had Kane on my podcast, when I had Kane on weighing in, you know, he's like, I don't care. That's Kane's take on it, you know? So Dave Sandine, thanks for being a member, joining the member again, and continue to be a member for the last 5 months. I want to thank you so much. Appreciate you guys. Join our membership program. If PFL has matching rights, will Usman have to sit on the sidelines waiting for matching right clause to expire if he wants to go to the UFC? I'm sure they do have matching rights. Most promotions do. They have matching rights. It's normally just 60 to 90 days, though. So he'll have to sit for 2 months if that's the case. But I also believe that, if they can't match, you'll know whether they can match or not. And they can sit him if they want, but that also will put a bad taste in other fighters' mouths. Like if I know that you're going to be a dick like that, some fighters might be, fuck it, I don't want to deal with them. You know, fighters will deal with the UFC and all the shit that goes on there because it's the UFC. But if it's not the UFC, then they're gonna be like, what am I doing? They don't want to have to deal with that. They're like, I can go to the UFC, take a little less money, and I'll probably get more recognition. I will for sure 100% get more recognition there, and probably make more money on the outside of the cage. One of the benefits of going to the PFL is they pay more. They have to pay more because they want to get top talent. If they don't pay more, top talent, they're like, well, if I'm going to make the same in PFL as I'm going to make in the UFC, I might as well go to the UFC and fight those fighters. So I think that's going to wrap it up for us, though. It says we're here, Antoine, do you think that the PFL will be here in 2030? Look, or if it'll die off. I think everything comes down to this December in their negotiations with ESPN and what other TV networks they have that they are talking to try and get a deal done. Whether it's Netflix, whether it's Amazon Prime, whether it's, I don't know what it is, whether it's ESPN again. But I don't know. It all comes down to their next TV rights deal and whether they stick around or not. How was someone able to do that?
Do what?
Did Kane really smoke DC in training? Cody White, 3026. Hey, how are you able to do a
super chat? I turned on.
Oh, how was it turned off?
Probably because of the changes we made recently.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was trying to figure it out. People were wondering why it was off.
Yeah.
So, well, look at that. See, Dave got a little tech savviness in him right there. See, I had to save him earlier, but but guess what? They're back. They're back, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you guys. Thanks, podcast, Dave. There we go.
Lazy Bed helped me fix it, apparently.
Oh, Lazy Bed, he did?
Apparently.
Okay, Lazy Bed's the man.
I'll need to go back and check the records for that one, but
did Kane really smoke DC in training? Hey, I'm not going to talk about the training, but I think DC's made it very public that there was a mutual respect there, and he didn't want any like controversy or anything like that going on with like, hey, you need to fight Kane if you're going to fight for the title. Like UFC has a tendency to do that. So Lazy Bed MMA goes, me and podcast Dave fixed it. Okay, I'll give you a little love. Congratulations. Thanks you, man. I appreciate you. All right, guys. So hey, we're gonna go ahead and wrap this up. I want to thank you guys so much. I know it was there's no fights this weekend, so we were just trying to make do with what we could with the news, and we do our regular Tuesday nights. I will be gone next week. So what I'm gonna be doing is I'm gonna be down in Tijuana, Mexico for CPI stem cells. And so what I will be doing is I'll be trying to either stream content or I will be sending content to Dave for him to put together and put out for you guys. Just my experience of being down there throughout the week. And, and I'll just give you guys some tidbits as we go throughout that week. I'll be gone all week and I'll be in a lot of pain, probably starting on Wednesday. So Wednesday and Thursday, I probably won't be too much, but I'll give you guys as much content as I can on Mondays and Tuesday. And then when Wednesday comes, I'll be a little laid up through probably Thursday. And then Friday, I should start feeling a little bit better. Then Saturday, I'll be back home. So looking forward to getting back home. And hey, guys, thanks so much for continuing to support the podcast. And Dave, I think we're done, buddy. We're out.